Creating games without writing a single line of code. Game development without programming. As most of us know, programming is a huge part of any game development. Everything from interactive elements to character actions like walking, running, jumping, shooting, or fighting all have to be programmed into a game. So it's not surprising that most people think that in order to develop a game, you have to either know how to program or ideally have a set of programmers on your game development team. But what if you're not a programmer and simply don't have the time or inclination to learn how to code, but still have the desire to create your own game? Or maybe you're more of an artist or creative type of person, and the sheer thought of having to stare at line after line of text on screen day in and day out makes you cringe. But you have the perfect idea for a game, and you just know other people would love it if you could somehow get it developed. What if we told you you could? What if we told you that in many of the major commercial game engines, you can create almost any type of game from scratch without writing a single line of code? So how do you do it? How does someone with little or no programming knowledge or experience create a game that looks and performs identical, if not better, than many of the games on the market today? Whether you're looking to create a platformer, fighter, shooter, racing game, RPG, or anything in between, you can create it without having to learn complex programming languages or programming paradigms by utilizing visual scripting. Visual scripting or visual programming is a gameplay scripting system found in many, if not all, of the major commercial game engines on the market today. In visual scripting, you manipulate elements of syntax or programming elements graphically, rather than by specifying them in text. Simply put, visual scripting uses a visual node-based interface to create simple or complex gameplay elements from within a game's engine. Like the name suggests, visual scripting is a visual approach to a scripting language. As such, the system shares many of the nuances of a standard written scripting language, such as data-typed variables, arrays, structs, etc. Just like in traditional programming and scripting, variables can be created and defined in a variety of different types, including data types such as game objects, boolean, integer, float, and so on. Visual scripting is also used by many of the top AAA game studios. While oftentimes not their main source of creating programming functionality, its flexible and dynamic range of use tends to vary among teams, studios, and projects. Visual scripting can be as simple or complex as you need it to be. So even if you're not familiar with working with variables, you can still create many different gameplay functions and elements. It's also extremely flexible and powerful since it provides you with the ability to use virtually the full range of concepts and tools generally only available to programmers. One of the key benefits of visual scripting over traditional scripting is it allows you to visually see in real time what each component in your script is doing in the gaming engine. So if a function isn't performing properly, you can pinpoint exactly where the error is. With that being said, let's look at 4 examples of visual scripting tools found in the 2 most popular commercial game engines on the market today: Unreal and Unity. And while Unity doesn't natively come with an integrated visual scripting tool, there are quite a few extremely powerful visual scripting plugin tools that can be purchased for Unity. The 4 examples of visual scripting we'll be looking at today are Blueprint for Unreal 4, Playmaker for Unity, Bolt for Unity, and Uscript for Unity. Unreal Engine's Blueprint. Blueprint is Unreal Engine's visual scripting language. It's user-friendly, well-documented, and fairly easy to use, so long as you understand the essentials. It is layered on top of C++, and any code you write can be exposed to and used by Blueprint. You can do many things with Blueprint. Everything from making a game or procedural content tools, to prototyping new functionality, to tweaking and polishing things made by programmers, is possible with the Blueprint's visual scripting system. Unreal Engine 4 has several different types of blueprints, and each type has their own specific purpose. However, there are a few common blueprint types that you'll likely be using most. The first is the level blueprint. The level blueprint accomplishes most of what Kismet did in UDK and has similar capabilities. Any level that you create in Unreal Engine 4 has its own level blueprint tied to it. The level blueprint manages everything from cinematics, checkpoints, and any other level-related tasks. It can also control different actors within the level. The class blueprints are what is used to create interactive assets with your level. So, a light switch that the character can turn on, items that they can collect, a door that will open when the player gets close enough. You can also set up things like a sound effect that will be played when a character interacts with a certain element in the game. Blueprint is an extremely powerful visual scripting system inside of Unreal Engine 4 that allows individuals who may not be as comfortable with coding to be able to create games with an easier-to-understand method. Even if you are experienced in a scripting language, Blueprint allows you to quickly create games, prototypes, and interactive functionality without spending all your time coding or without writing a single line of code. Hutong Games Playmaker. Playmaker is a paid add-on for Unity that allows you to create games without having to code. Created by Hutong Games, Playmaker is a powerful state machine-based visual scripting editor and runtime library for Unity. Visual state machines are intuitive and powerful for beginners and pros. Easy to understand, learn, and use, Playmaker allows you to quickly and easily create any prototypes, interactive functionality, and full games, with little to no runtime cost on your game's resources. Learning to create interactive experiences, including games, can be a challenge for a variety of reasons. One of the biggest challenges arises from the fact that historically the main mode of authoring interactive content has been through text-based programming. Because of this, Playmaker can be a very useful tool for creators who are interested in exploring the logical side of creating interactivity without having to interface deeply with written code syntax. Removing the struggle with syntax allows creators to learn to think like a programmer by focusing on creating logic for their game, without worrying about compiler errors. Even if you do have coding experience, it can make it that much easier to create interactive, fully animated games in half the time. Ludix Bolt. Bolt is a paid add-on that brings complete visual scripting to Unity, empowering artists, designers, and programmers to create gameplay mechanics and interactive systems without writing a single line of code. If it can be done in code, it can be done in Bolt. Store and retrieve any kind of data in Bolt. Health point, name, score, and even complex data structures. Every type is supported, not just primitives. Everything in their Unity codebase is directly available in Bolt, as there is no integration layer between Bolt and Unity. You can just call functions from character classes and item classes inside Bolt and set properties. Live editing. Create and modify entire graphs while in play mode. Bolt's unique runtime will save and propagate your changes, allowing you to prototype and build your game while playing it. In Bolt, you can choose between two powerful graph types to implement your ideas. Flow graphs. Powerful flow control graphs similar to Unreal blueprints for low-level logic and complex tasks. State graphs. Elegant finite state machines similar to Playmaker for high-level logic, low performance cost, and easy state management. Detox Studios UScript. UScript is a paid add-on to Unity that gives you the ability to bring your visions to reality in a creative and visual way. Much more than just a visual state machine, UScript is a fully featured visual scripting system developed by industry veterans of award-winning games and contains the ease of use of a highly polished visual scripting tool, with the power of best-in-class features such as C# source code generation, such as no resource-consuming or platform-specific runtime or interpreters needed, automatic data preservation, and smart node replacement and depreciation. UScript's nodes are a visual representation of actual code blocks, and it takes advantage of C#'s reflection capabilities to automatically create nodes for any scripts it finds in your project, regardless of the source. This makes it inherently compatible with pretty much everything. Modeled after UDK's Kismet, the predecessor to UE4's Blueprint, UScript's scripts resemble flowcharts where each box represents a function or value, with connections between them representing program flow. This provides a better-at-a-glance indication of game logic than a simple list of events, and makes complex behaviors easier to accomplish. Custom nodes can also be created by hand, for cases where the automatically created ones contain more elements than they actually need. Nodes are translated directly to C# files in your project. This is great for learning to code, and also for advanced users who can use UScript for fast prototyping, and then further optimize the scripts if necessary. While not as popular as Playmaker or Bolt, a full-featured version of UScript, UScript Personal Learning Edition, is free to download, learn, and use. Many people believe visual scripting is just for artists, designers, and people unfamiliar with coding. However, we've come across quite a few programmers that will commonly use visual scripting on a regular basis and integrate it into their game development pipeline. Visual scripting is not only a fast way to create, prototype, and develop game mechanics, but it can also be a great way to learn game logic and a nice entry point to programming in games. Keep in mind, visual scripting is just another syntax. So whether you're scripting visually or in Unity's C# or Unreal's C++, the programming logic will always be the same. So once you understand the programming logic, it's just a matter of creating or writing it in a specific programming format. Simply put, the key is understanding how to create solutions, then apply that to a programming language, be it visual or traditional programming.